It's been nearly impossible for this duo to even get on the court together. But the sad thing is, even when they have been on the court, 16 games, it hasn't been pretty. And Sixers fans, we have a major problem. Overlooking the negative traits of Joel Embiid was a lot easier when he significantly elevated every lineup he was in. But unfortunately, that's just not the case anymore. During the All-Star break, I fully expect the Sixers to announce season-ending surgery because physically, he's nowhere near playable. If you watch him, he can't get up and down the court. He can't drive to the basket. He can't even screen and roll consistently. And my goodness, he cannot rebound at all. If it's contested rebound, give it up already. And the funniest thing, despite all of that, the Sixers have this grand idea that they still play through him 24/7, which clearly doesn't work because why would it? His knees do not work. His impact has gone down the drain. The regression is real. For the first time in his NBA career, the Sixers are losing the Joel Embiid minutes, which is crazy to say considering this is one of the better supporting casts he has had throughout his career. And get this, per pivotfade.com, negative 2.7 net rating when he's on the court. To put that in perspective, last season he had a plus 10.1 net rating. The year before that, plus 7.6. The year before that, plus 12.3. It's the first time in his NBA career that he has a negative net rating. Now let's go to Paul George. He has regressed. His ability to get to the basket is basically non-existent. That's probably the most frustrating part of his game because when he gets there, he can finish. But the problem is he can't get there. He doesn't consistently look to attack the basket. And when he does, he struggles to get by his initial defender. It almost seems like it's painful for him to drive. He's scared of getting hurt or something like that. He's scared of taking contact. Unfortunately, there were warning signs. Take it back to the 2022-23 season a couple years ago. He was up to 3.6 shots per game in the restricted area and 2.4 shots per game in the paint. Then last season, it dripped down to 2.7 in the restricted area and 2.2 in the paint. It's going down a little. And then with the Sixers, this aspect in his game just completely fell off. 1.9 shots per game in the restricted area attempted and 1.7 in the paint. 3.6 shots near that basket overall, which means most of his shots are contested too. So as a result, he's only averaging 16.1 points on 42% shooting. But even the easy shots, his bread and butter, catch and shoot three-pointers, seem tough for him this season. Get this, on shots that are deemed open, aka 4 to 6 feet of open space to the nearest defender when you're shooting, he's shooting 37% from three in that situation. With 6 feet of space, wide open shots, once again, 37%. Going to last season for the Clippers, he shot 41% on open looks and 43% from three on wide open looks. And the icing on the cake, Embiid and Paul George have zero chemistry. They barely play off of each other. Honestly, I put more of the blame on Embiid for this. I rarely seen him this season make it a point to get Paul George involved, to run an action. In 16 games played together, Paul George is averaging just 13.9 points while just shooting 40% from the field. I think the reason for their bad on-court chemistry is on the ball. They are both suspect decision makers. They're also both score-first players. Well, actually, all Paul George wants to do is pass. So I kind of take that back. Anyway, some games it clicks for them where they can make the correct reads. They can make quick passing decisions with the rock in their hands. But other games, They process the court so slowly, which can result in some of the worst turnovers, bad ball movement, just an ISO-oriented offense. And this aspect makes their two-man game very unreliable and scary to witness, not going to lie, because you can't trust them to make that right pass immediately with the rock. And if they do make it, it's probably going to be off target. And listen to this. In 365 minutes played together, the duo
has a negative 3.1 net rating.
But here's the craziest part. 104.6 offensive rating. Keep in mind, the Washington Wizards. Let me repeat that. The Washington Wizards have the worst offensive rating in the league, but it's slightly better. 105.7. Hold on, guys. I'm going to need a second to comprehend that because there's a tear dripping out of my eye right now. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, combined, they are making $100.6 million this year. $100.6 million. And with them on the court together, the Sixers are producing the worst offense in the league type of numbers. Here's some good news. 107.7 defensive rating as a duo. That's on pace to be a top 3 defense. And I got to give Paul George props. Defensively, he has looked very, very good this year. But here's the other thing. The on-court production is one thing, and honestly, you can chalk that up to injuries. You can chalk that up to everyone being injured, it being a weird year, the drama around the team. It's just a weird year overall. Like, you can make excuses for that. It's not that hard. But you can't make excuses for these two being terrible leaders. I think yesterday is just a wonderful example. They played the Brooklyn Nets, no Maxey or Joel Embiid, and Paul George played the most passive game of the season. He only scores 2 points. He only takes 7 shots. It just looks like he's playing pickup at the local YMCA gym. He does not care. You can tell. Then you look at the bench and you see Tyrese Maxey, Kyle Lowry hyping up the team, staying engaged. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid is nowhere to be found. Where is he? Is it too much to ask for him to show up and support the team on the bench in Brooklyn? Like, it's not in Los Angeles or somewhere super far away. It's freaking Brooklyn, one of the closest away venues from Philly. And the reason this is very annoying is this has been a common theme during the Joel Embiid era. He just disappears. And it's not just that. If you pay close attention to the Sixers over the years, they really go as Joel Embiid goes. If he comes out lackadaisical, it kind of infects the rest of the team. And that has happened way too often this season. And it's even more annoying considering in all the games he plays, the Sixers have to win. And you've seen them just not even show up, just come out lackadaisical. For examples and recent examples at Detroit on national TV, they get slaughtered. Then again versus Toronto. And by the way, Detroit was missing Cade Cunningham. It also happened early in the season at Golden State. They were just terrible to start out the game. But overall, the lack of focus through the whole entire team, the attention to detail is very frustrating, and Nick Nurse deserves blame. I think one of the most infuriating things about this team is the inability to take control of a game. It doesn't matter who's been playing. This has been a problem all season. If the Sixers take the lead, go up by 1 point, it's pretty much a guarantee that the other team scores 8 straight points to wipe away all the momentum. And it goes the other way too. I'm telling you, if the Sixers get off to a hot start, as a fan, unfortunately, you know the Sixers are going to take their foot off that gas, missing 10 straight shots, relying on only 3-pointers instead of attacking the basket, playing bad defense, and then the other team can't miss, resulting in a 20-0 run. All these reasons are why at times lately, I barely have been paying attention. I barely have been caring. Because I look at this team, I look deeper into the organization all the way up top, and I'm like, if they don't give a fuck, why should I?